Hi, this is Shenequa.
And I'm Andrea.
And you're listening to
So With This Ring.
So I am really excited about this one. This is our first ever episode. Drea, tell me how you feel about that.
Woo! I'm excited. I'm nervous, but I'm really just ready.
I'm ready too. Last night, a little bit of the jitters, but for the most part, I am really ready. What about you?
I'm ready.
You're ready? Okay,
I'm ready.
Let's go ahead and jump into it. So, right now, our first episode is called
How Did We Meet and How Did We Start This Podcast? Or why did we start this podcast?
Exactly. And they're none other than our mutual friend here by the name of Adriana. The reasoning as to why she's here is because of that simple reason as to why we started this podcast and how we met. So without further ado, let's give our first SWTR, which stands for shout outs and recognition, to Adriana. So give us a little bio.
Yay! Welcome.
Hi, everyone. First of all, ladies, thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
I'm a little bit nervous myself, but I'm very excited to be here. So I'm Adriana, and I'm a mutual friend who introduced these two. So a little bit about myself. I'm actually a social worker, and I work primarily with families and teenagers, and our job is to make sure that these teenagers don't go to jail. And also, side note, fun fact, I'm also newly engaged.
Woo! Hey.
So I'm very excited. I know that some of the topics that these ladies are going to be discussing is, about love, marriage, and down the line, parenthood for me someday that I'm hoping to experience. So it should be fun. It should be exciting.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. You're a part of the reason as to why this took place. So it's only fitting that you were to come on, and then also hopefully you will be coming on more often. Maybe share the co-hosting with us one day down the line. But let's go get into it. Like how we met. Let's start with how we met, and that's all on you. To be honest with you, because we wouldn't have met if it wasn't for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you have to be the one.
Yes. So basically, I'm that friend that has several mommy friends, and so I know these two, also being moms themselves. One of the things that I've noticed, common trends between the two of them, basically whenever they come to me to talk about some of the, the beauties of being a mom, while also there's been some challenges, is that they share some of those similar challenges, both being first-time moms and also being boy moms. And then they happen to be born in the same year.
Yes.
So it's coming into full circle. And I was like, you know what? I think it would be good for these two to meet, just so that they can be each other's sounding board and an outlet to just discuss some of those challenges, because it can get really hectic, and from what I've heard, can also get lonely. So it's good to have someone that also can relate. And since I feel bad because I personally can't relate since I'm not a mom yet, but these two are, so it's kind of like no one's gonna understand that the other person.
So that's Adriana's role as a social worker. I'm also a social worker as well, and we tend to keep that social worker hat on our heads, I would say, when it comes to people's feelings and perspectives. So when she brought the idea to me, via how we talk about the Instagram or WhatsApp app, she was like, hey, I have somebody that I would love for you to meet. I think that y'all connect. Well, I was like, girl, didn't I tell you that I do not do no new friends, that you are the last one that I added to be a new friend of mine? Because every time, that's a topic later on, but however, and she was like, no, y'all guys are going to get along great. Was really selling me, because you got to sell me to go somewhere. We could go out to eat. I was like, all right, can I pick? She was like, yeah. So, and then she said, let's go. So we did an outing. I will say that it was at a restaurant in Bay Plaza in the Bronx. Shout out to the Bronx. Yes. The Olive Garden, because I love Italian food and I like to eat the same stuff. So, we went there and we connected, and that's how I met Shenequa, where I got to know a lot of things. We had a lot of things in common.
We did.
We had a lot in common.
I knew that.
Yeah,
right.
She knew that.
She's the main reason why. But she knew what she was doing. And I actually met Adriana because her fiance is actually good friends and best friends, and kind of like his brother with my now hubby, because I just recently got married a month ago.
Yay.
So congrats to me. But anyway, so I met Adriana through Dwayne, and it was actually like we hit it off really, really, really good in the very beginning. And we had like our own dates. Honestly, this was my first WCE. We used to say it all the time that it usually literally got people sick, like, you guys are acting like best friends and stuff like that or whatever, and we had to tone it down a bit just to make sure that we didn't cause any of an issue or felt some type of way. But for the most part, she's still my WCE, and so they literally used to come over every single weekend. Like I used to cook, or I used to bake, and we used to sit down and watch movies and just chill, or sometimes we would go for dinner and stuff like that or whatever. Then the mister was starting to be a little bit frugal. He was like, we're gonna have to relax on these like dinner dates and stuff like that, so we just kept it as like game nights and stuff. And so when she let me know that she wanted me to meet her friend Andrea, I was just like, sure, I'm always open to it. And this one over here was just like, no new friends, not interested, not at all. So I think honestly, the first thing we did, we went to the movies first, and then after that we went to Olive Garden, where she buys the same meal.
I do
all the time, same dish or whatever. So I mean, if you like it, you like it, and you're gonna keep doing it.
And sad part, my son is the same way.
So honestly, let's go ahead and jump into how we started the podcast. So podcast is something I've always wanted to do. I honestly wanted to do a podcast, since my book club. So I'm founder of Captivating Conversations Book Club. My dear girl over here is actually one of the OGs. We've been now a book club for 4 years now, going on, and so very happy and thankful for that. So I know that I presented the idea of having a podcast from before, just talking about the books and everything, but I don't think everybody was in unison or was ready for that as of yet. So I placed it on the back burner. But the thing is, an idea of a podcast in some way, shape, or form was always circling in my head very often. And then I always hear my grandfather's voice when he rests his soul in the back. He was like, listen, if you ever have an interest in anything, do your research, and if you feel as though it's going to be successful, and even if it's just you and you don't have a team, just make sure you do it. And so that's always resonated with me, and that's always going to stick beside me. So that is the reasoning as to why I was just like, all right, I have to make sure that this podcast gets taken care of. And that's literally how I think about what any other projects that I have going on. Like if I do the research and I feel as though it's something I can do, then I will do it. But in this road that I wanted to take, I wanted to do it with other people. So I was thinking in my head, like, who can I potentially ask, like, to come on and either come on and show their face and speak their truths, or actually be like a co-host and stuff like that. So I just happened to go to Instagram. I see this one over here doing her rants on Instagram all the time. And I was just like, let me ask Andrea if she'll be interested. So I hit her up on WhatsApp. It was WhatsApp?
Yeah, WhatsApp.
And I was like, hey, boo. This is what I have going on.
That's how you know. That's how she wins me over all the time. Hey, boo.
Hey, boo. But I got the hey, boo from her. And I was like, hey, boo. I have this idea. I want to do a podcast, just, shooting the breeze and stuff like that. And she was just like, yeah, girl, I'm down. And I was just like, yay.
Because I never say no to her. That's why. Because she makes it so appealing. So when she hit me with on a regular random workday morning, because that's where her ideas flow. She hits me early in the morning. I hit her late at night with ideas. That's what makes us interesting. I say that in our friendship. And I said, okay, fine. I'll definitely do it. I'm down, because I also been doing blogging for like 10 years now, and I also and I have wrote blogs and stuff on there about topics and things to talk on Instagram, which everybody likes the stories. They sometimes will ask me why I'm not on it. Try to tone it down just a little bit, because you can't get everything of me on IG. Boundaries. So definitely, and I know Adriana had brought the idea to me a few years back because of how I talk, how we speak about things, but she can go into more detail about that in regards to it. But I'm just excited about it. It's a new opportunity. I'm always about now, since everything with quarantine, like living my life to the fullest and living my life to my best potential and doing things. So by taking this risk and taking chances, it's exciting, and I'm happy about it.
Definitely. And then I was also thinking about, like, who else can I ask? So of course, if I ask Andrea, I definitely have to ask Adriana, because she's the reasoning as to why I met Andrea. We're pretty close too. So I sent her and I was like, hey, love, I have this idea about a podcast. I wanted to know if you would have any interest on coming on board, if you would like to be a recurring guest, or if you wanted to be a co-host. And then our thing is voice notes. So she sent me a voice note back, and you can tell the people
yeah,
your part on what you were thinking.
We love doing voice notes.
Voice notes.
Yeah, I think it's more personalized that way versus text messages.
Yes.
That's what we're so used to nowadays. So when she came with me with the idea about like doing the podcast, I thought it was a great idea because like Andrea was saying, like we talked about this a few years back, just talking of like women having a platform to be able to talk about different topics, like love, dating, friendship. Somewhere down the line for me, marriage and parenthood, like these two lovely ladies here. So I honestly, I think it's great, and I would love to, come back as a recurring guest.
You heard it, right?
Heard it first.
Yeah, this is like really exciting. So the more that we talk, it's very exciting to be able to just talk about these things and be open. And I do value these two ladies' opinions and advice. So please tune in, guys. It's going to be great.
My heart warmed.
It did. Because it's stepping out on faith. It really is.
It really is. And now that's the easy segue for us to talk about like what exactly it is that we're going to talk about on the podcast. So, it was just honestly just a platform where we all can basically speak our truths and our personal experiences with dating, with friendships, with like getting engaged and going through a whole process of wedding planning, real adult life, and getting married after the I do's, and then parenting and just everything in between. It was our opportunity and having a platform to really speak our truths. I was one growing up in a household where they told me anything that happens in the house stays in the house, and then going to therapy was like taboo. Like they testifying too because they also like dealing with the same thing as well, like in the household. And I was in a very, very strict household, so having an outlet to be able to express how I felt without it, parents saying, well, you're being disrespectful. I didn't want to have to deal with that. So, the idea of actually now being an adult where I can basically set my own rules and I don't have to worry too much about, other things, of course, being respectful, I'm able to like share my truth. So I figured that I would start a podcast that would actually implement that and bringing on people to give you like their truths and be transparent. And I think we need a little bit more of that. Since I feel as though like a lot of the things that's now in like media is like either rehearsed, they want to tell you that it's like real TV, but it's not because it's still scripted. Even this here is not scripted. It's just basically off the cuff that we're, talking about it. And I think that's where you get good conversations. So, we hope that you continue to listen. And thank you to all of the 100+ followers that literally just started following us on our Instagram page.
Based off the trailer.
Our 37-second trailer that we had. And we got such a phenomenal amount of like, feedback and any feedback, whether you liked it or you didn't like it. Honestly, the feedback actually helps us. So we appreciate all of you guys. We're not calling you our followers. You're calling our ringers. Since it's called So With This Ring. So we thank you so much. And, we look forward to see like what exactly this is all going to, give out. So I don't know. What are your expectations for the podcast?
My expectations for the podcast is that it really touches whoever listens to it. My thing is it's going to be raw, uncut, and speaking our truths about, certain things and certain topics. And I just wanted to just hit people where I know for me, personally, with certain conversations I had with friends, like what I had with you and Adriana, it hits me because it's encouraging. So I want our podcast to encourage others to whatever they may be going through. You may be going through some hell to be in the first time mother. It was hell. Yeah. It was hell for myself. Or the jitters about becoming a wife, or just being married. What is that like after you say the I do's? So I'm just looking forward to just putting it out there for people to hear, because even if it touches just one person or changes one person's perspective or mind, that's what makes me, happy. And just doing the journey with you, right? And everybody else that we have. You, Adriana, it was amazing. I appreciate you for coming on. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. It's a lot. It's a lot, but I'm just very excited and I'm looking forward to what it's going to be.
Same here. And what are your expectations? Not only as a person that will be on, like recurring, but like as a listener, like what is your expectations?
I mean, honestly, Andrea hit it right at the nose. I think just having the opportunity to, being able to open up a platform where we can discuss, these topics as women that we face. And also, just providing that safe haven. And then like Andrea was saying, like somebody could be going through something and just being able to listen to that advice or being that sounding board can really be very helpful. long term. So
no, I definitely I agree. And just more so for me personally is just being able to step a little bit outside of my box.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like I'm good with like the one-on-one with like Adriana and like Andrea and like friends and stuff like that. But for me to have a platform where I'm speaking it out to other people, it's not something it's a huge step. And you know, it's a learning experience, and I want people to be able to do that. So you can be able to speak your mind and still be respectful, but just be able to be as transparent and not have to worry about what this person is going to say or feel as though that you're going to be judged. Because that a part of it was like with me, I was afraid that if I say something that I'm going to be judged. Like that's a part, right? So it's like it was like an insecurity within me. But now, like I'm older, I have a child. Like you know, at this point, like you know, when we're really adulting, like you know what I mean. So you know, I want to be able to express my truths, to say that it is okay to be transparent. It is okay to talk about things that has happened to you in the past, even if they're like embarrassing moments. But you know what? Guess what? My testimony can potentially help someone before, you know, like who's went into that or was just like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to make it through. You will. You will. So, I mean, again, overall, the podcast is just an open opportunity for us to speak our truths and hopefully down the line be able to open it up so people can call in and we can give you advice. So, again, we are no experts. No, we're not. We're just going through this journey like how you are going through journey within life and just learning things day by day. So, I'm good with today.
I'm definitely good.
I'm great.
So we definitely just want to say thank you again for taking the time out to listen to So With This Ring podcast. And if you are not following us, make sure you follow us. We are on all streaming platform services. I'm talking about Spotify.
Talk about it.
Apple.
Talk about it.
Google. First of all, we on YouTube. And we're also on Instagram. If you haven't followed us, we're on So With This Ring podcast on IG.
Exactly.
And Twitter.
So
you'll be seeing quotes from us coming soon from Twitter as well. So make sure you follow us to get all the updates. And last but not least, we also have a website that gives you all the up-to-date information, and you can stream directly from there as well.
Exactly.
So once again, thank you for taking the time out to listen to us. We really appreciate it. Stay tuned. We have so much more to offer, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, this is Adriana, and you're listening to So With This Ring.